Welcome everyone to a My IBD Learning virtual program introducing My IBD. My name is Ria Bahadur and I will be moderating the program alongside Colin Dugan. I'm currently a junior at the University of California, Berkeley, where I'm studying biology and business, and I'm an IBD patient myself since I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis 9 years ago.
Hi, everyone. I'm Colin Dugan. I'm a junior at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. I'm studying global health. I'm also an IBD patient, and I've had Crohn's disease for a little over 3 years.
When you first get diagnosed with IBD, it can be confusing and scary and a lot to deal with all this new information. Having a support system can help you navigate the emotional challenges that IBD may bring. Today, we'll discuss how to approach friends, family, classmates, and teachers with your diagnosis. As you grow in your IBD journey, you'll come across times that it is necessary to advocate for yourself, so we'll also discuss ways to introduce your IBD to medical staff, employers, and legislators that help form policies surrounding IBD. On behalf of the Foundation, thank you for watching. Before we get started, we have just a few items of housekeeping to review. The information that we're going to share today is meant for educational purposes only and should not replace any advice or guidance from your own healthcare professional. So at this time, I'd like to welcome Colin to start off tonight's program.
Talking about your IBD can be a tricky subject, so kind of our overarching view for tonight is to discuss what you are comfortable with and not to discuss what other people would like to know. So next, we're going to go over a few different scenarios and how what you share might change between those scenarios. So our first scenario is talking to distant relatives about your IBD. So when talking to distant relatives or people you don't see regularly, they might ask you how you are, how you're doing, or how you've been feeling lately, and if your IBD has changed, either for better or for worse, since the last time you saw them. You could explain any new medication you're taking, foods you're now able to eat or not able to eat, new diagnoses, surgeries, etc. Remember, you don't have to share more than you feel comfortable with, and it could be beneficial to speak in broader terms about your health and speaking to distant relatives, especially if you don't see them all the time. And if you're newly diagnosed and this relative hasn't seen you since you were diagnosed, you might explain to them what IBD is and how it affects you. Our next scenario is close friends and significant others. So, when discussing your IBD with close friends, immediate family, or significant others, you might speak a little less broadly about your IBD and focus more specifically on how it can affect you day to day. So, this could look like discussing your physical limitations, symptoms, dietary needs, upcoming appointments, tests, scopes, etc. And these are also people that might be most important in assisting with your emotional and mental health surrounding your IBD. Many people find it helpful to have someone that is familiar with your IBD so they can reach out when experiencing a difficult time or a flare up. It's also incredibly important that your teachers and professors are aware of your IBD needs, as IBD can affect your attendance or your ability to stay in class without a bathroom trip. Establishing a 504 plan in primary school or registering with your university disability office can provide you with a helpful accommodations that can make being a learner with IBD much more flexible. You don't have to disclose your IBD directly to your teacher or professor, but it may be useful to discuss how it affects you and what accommodations you might benefit from. In this situation, you must advocate for yourself and don't let anyone else but you dictate your needs. Just to give a couple examples of some accommodations, this could be exam accommodations, extended deadlines, bathroom access, or immunocompromised considerations. Another scenario is roommates. This is definitely more for college-aged people, but living with others, especially if you share the same room, can prove challenging with IBD. Since you and your roommate or roommates will be in close proximity, it is really important that they have an understanding of your IBD. If they aren't familiar with IBD, it would be helpful to provide a basic explanation of the disease and how it affects you, and to mention how your IBD might affect them. This can include things like bathroom needs, immunocompromised considerations, or quiet hours if you really need to sleep. Also, if you take special medication, like a biologic that needs to be refrigerated or stored in a specific way, you will want to mention that as well, as you don't want your roommate to throw out your biologic along with an ancient takeout container. It may be helpful to connect with your university disability office prior to school starting as well, see what housing accommodations are available. This time, I'm going to give it back to Ria to continue the conversation.
Navigating the transition from pediatric to adult care comes with unique challenges, especially when you are introducing your IBD and your medical history to new staff on your care team and insurance companies. In this section, we'll cover strategies for effectively advocating for yourself, highlighting the key information medical professionals and insurers need to know about your care. When going over your medical history to new medical staff, you want to make sure to especially highlight and mention any medications you are currently on, previous scopes, imaging, surgeries, hospital stays, and anything else related to those, other diagnoses, and allergies or food sensitivities. This is not an exhaustive list of everything your medical history may include, and thus you should make sure to mention anything and everything you can think about to be relevant, but also these are just a few common things that you should definitely not forget about. Along these lines, you'll want to talk to your new care team about how your IBD affects other parts of your life and any expectations or concerns you have regarding your care and treatment plans. When speaking with insurance companies, especially new ones, it is important that both parties are on the same page, and that can easily be accomplished by first providing the company with some context about your IBD, which may include a basic explanation about your diagnosis and its symptoms. Complete communication is important, and thus you should make sure to also talk about a general timeline of your needs, which includes any regular specialty visits or medications or treatments that you may routinely need, so that you can stress about the repercussions of not so you don't have to stress about the repercussions of not being able to receive care when it is needed. Lastly, you may want to address your past medical history and any other diagnoses in addition to IBD with your insurance company as well. Discussing your IBD with an employer can also feel daunting, but it's an essential step to ensure that you get the support that you need. Yes, you're not obligated to disclose your IBD, but it may be incredibly helpful to do so. In this section, we'll explore how to navigate these conversations, including when and how to check in with your HR representatives about accommodations and recovery time. We'll also highlight the protections provided by the Americans with Disabilities Act, or the ADA, and how it can work in your favor. Whether you're starting a new job or seeking adjustments in your current role, we hope to empower you to effectively advocate for yourself in the workplace. When discussing your IBD with employers, or more specifically with your HR representatives, it is important to provide them with the necessary context, which includes a basic explanation of what your IBD is and its symptoms. This will allow you to explain how IBD may affect your work and may lead to your ability to get accommodations accordingly, which could include the ability to leave early, to miss work days for treatment, or get bathroom access. Your workplace may also have the capacity to make some immunocompromised considerations if you have this discussion with them. Remember, there are laws such as the ADA in place to make sure that you receive the accommodations that make your workplace an equitable environment where you can thrive and succeed. Lastly, we want to take the time to talk about advocating for IBD legislation. Advocating for IBD legislation is a powerful way to create change, and it's a lot easier than you think. Insurance and pharmacy Insurance and pharmacy policies can have tangible impacts on IBD care, including treatment costs, delays, and complications caused by approval bottlenecks. You can learn how to frame your story with concrete examples that highlight the real life effect of IBD without getting lost in emotions. It is important that you seek out opportunities to advocate at the local, state, and national levels because there are plenty, and it is truly a very simple way to get involved. If you'd like to stay connected with the foundation and become an advocacy volunteer, just follow the QR code and you can take your first step towards making a difference. And we'd like to thank you for taking the time to listen to this presentation today. As our program is starting to come to an end, I'd like to encourage everyone to keep learning about how to speak out about your IBD. Depending on where you are in your IBD journey, there are several foundation websites that you may find helpful. The first QR code is a link to our IBD and Me Activity Center for Kids. Here you can find comic pages directly on our website that provide an interactive way for kids to learn about their diagnosis, how to talk to their friends about IBD, and how to manage their care. Then, for teens, our Just Like Me Teens with IBD section empowers teens to navigate their IBD and answers questions about nutrition, school, dating, and body image. It also begins the conversation on transitioning from pediatric to adult care. Teens can check in on what IBD skills they've mastered and what they still need to learn about. The third QR code will direct you to our Young Adults and Campus Connection section that answers questions regarding managing IBD independently, establishing accommodations in college, and navigating a social life. You can also find information on the Foundation's National Council of College Leaders, which Colin and I are both a part of. This group supports Foundation content creation, and we work together to increase awareness of IBD for young adults and on college campuses. Finally, if you're looking to connect with other patients and caregivers, the Foundation offers virtual and in-person support groups. The QR code at the far right will help you locate a support group near you. We hope this information was helpful to you, and we look forward to connecting with you further through the Foundation's additional resources. At this time, we'd like to thank you for joining us, and we hope that you have a great rest of your day.